Assalamu alaikum. Good afternoon. How's your Lent going? I'm not fasting. Um, I'm diabetic. I said so in a previous movie. Okay, let's talk about E equals mc squared. This E equals mc squared is how matter comes into being. There's only one small problem, and that is that um, Europhysics, and I like to make a distinction between Europhysics and Islamic physics. In fact, there's Euro everything and then there's Islamic everything. They have their own version of everything. And in fact, Islamic scholars of 1,000 years ago, they never accepted and they never ever said that there's nothing, that there's a void. They spoke about dhulumat, about the plenum, the darknesses, all of them, because they studied everything also. It was Europhysics that just ignored it because they only looked at the light, and Muslims do the same thing. They see take people out of dhulumat into the nur of Islam, and Christians see taking people out of the darkness into the light. But as I've said in previous videos, every reference to dhulumat in Al Quran Al Karim is not about darknesses into light. It's physics. It explains what the darknesses is. It's a thing, and everything floats in it like it's water. It's not water, but I mean, it has properties like water. It has waves like water, and it consists of particles like water. So let's look at those particles because the particles in the darknesses is what all matter is made of. Everything. So think of just the darknesses. Like take a spot in outer space where there's only darkness, there's no light, no nothing, no asteroids, no stars, no planets, no nothing, only the darknesses, right? But now understand that the darknesses is not nothing, it's not a void, because in this darknesses there is energy. It just is there. It's part of the darknesses was created in that plasma, the Big Bang, the fourth state of matter. So when the darknesses was created, that is how it was created. One of its characteristics was it had this energy, and it's obviously a fixed amount of energy. So let's just say that the darknesses was so small when it was created, then that was the amount of energy that that was there. All right, but it's fixed because in physics we know that through the law of conservation of matter and the law of conservation of energy, you cannot destroy it or create it. It just changes from one form to another. Now, technically, Ibn Khaldun had a problem with things were overclassified because Europhysics will tell you that the law of conservation of energy is in the field of thermodynamics, and the law of conservation of matter is in physics. But it's the same thing because energy and matter is the same thing. I mean, that's what Einstein's law says. E equals m multiplied by c twice. But the c is just a number. But it's E equals m. And so in the darknesses, energy is being converted to matter, and matter is being converted to energy back and forth all the time. And this is what I'm studying, the darknesses. And I've got a whole PhD thesis on it. And my thesis is that this is the origin of matter, but not in the sense that we now can exclude a creator from it, because we already said that the creator created the universe, and the creator is doing this. After Allah said kun fayakun and the plasma appeared, he then said, will you bow down to me in submission? And the answer was yes. And then he cleft it asunder, where there was the big bang. And then he fashioned the universe. So everything was fashioned. Like us, we were fashioned. Like the laws of physics and how things work was fashioned by Allah. So to find out how it worked, right? Remember I said we must learn from Michael Faraday. Michael Faraday said, I understand that God does all these things, but I want to know how he does it. And he was the real genius of the Euro world. But I don't know, they don't really talk much about him. They're all Einstein, Einstein, because they like the big bomb. I don't understand it. Faraday, you can also build like electric Gatling guns or something. So why do they not emphasize him? Was he too religious with him? I don't know. And maybe it's none of our business. But they make lekker stuff, the Euro physicists. They got nice, like, their offshoot of science is their technology. And they make lekker technology, like cars and motorbikes and aeroplanes, jet skis, motorbikes and stuff, motorboats. They make nice stuff. Now, why aren't we making stuff like that? We don't make anything. I mean, the closest you can get is like Malaysia makes protons. And then they had a problem with the president, Mahathir Mohamad, who started the whole thing. They said he don't get up for Fajr. Like it's their business. He did all that stuff with him. The best they could say was he doesn't get, they drive past his house and it's dark. Like they do, maybe he makes salah in the dark. How do you know? And then you must say, idiot. Because what does anybody salah got to do with anybody else? Do you get punished if I don't make salah? Why do people not talk about zakah? Because zakah, after 1 year, that 2.5% minus the exemption, it was automatically somebody else's, but it's still sitting in your bank account. Where do you pay your zakah? You see, can you see how that is why the Surah Al-Asr, Allah swears by Asr, Wal Asr. I used to say Wallahi, but now we can't swear by Allah. I mean, we swear by Allah, but Allah can't swear by Himself. And we say Him, but it's not. Allah can't say Wallahi. By Allah, I swear. Allah says Wal Asr, and they tell us Allah swears by time. Asr doesn't mean time. Asr is a waqt. It's at a late afternoon waqt. We all know that, man. Don't talk nonsense to us, man. Just because you study Quran and Sunnah now, we must listen to your nonsense. And the Nabi said that the waqt of Asr is something in the waqt of Asr. But you won't know what it is until you ask to be given or to be shown what it is. Now, I don't know, maybe I was shown what it is because why am I getting all these ideas and stuff? I want to just like stop doing this and do nothing. Or I mean, I did stop doing this and I watched YouTube videos all the time, and then I got massively high blood pressure, like 205 over 120. My doctor couldn't believe it. He said, you're going to get a stroke while you're standing right here in front of me. So I took that as a sign. So he said, keep moving. So I keep moving. I'm still moving. I'm moving to Qatar, I think. Now I'm not so sure anymore. Because Qatar they sit on their hands, man. The Arabs is lazy. I came home for Ramadan because they only work 2 hours a day if you're lucky. We don't do that. We work harder during Ramadan than when it's not Ramadan. They don't. They don't work. Yeah. In Surah Al-Asr, Allah swears by Asr that the people in the world are in the verdoemenis. Inna insana lafi khusr. The people are in khusr. Khusr means in chaos, in demakagheid, in a mess. And it's true. And nobody bothers, nobody tries, nobody. If you tell somebody you're Muslim, then it's like, like sy Petrus ons, ek kan ons nie help, is ingegie. Ons vriend riba. Iets met maak gesien. I don't know, man. I don't know. I really don't know. But I would have been gone at the Cape Town long ago already, in 1986 already, if I hadn't met my wife. But I always take it, whatever happened, happened for a reason. You know, you make plans, Allah Ta'ala makes better plans. Sometimes I make such slap plans because then I just wait for Allah to make a better plan. And then I do it like that. You know, and then it looks like things are going to go drastically wrong because I didn't do anything. Like now, I'm struggling to book a plane ticket to Qatar because they scam my bank account. Like they scanned everybody. Everybody I talked to, then their bank account was scammed. Yeah. So in Surah Al-Asr, wal Asr, Inna insana lafi khusr. The people, insan, are in khusr, in chaos, in the makagheid. Illa ladina amanu, except those of iman, the ones that وعملوا الصالحات, and the ones who are salih, وتواصوا بالحق, and the ones who live according to truth, وتواصوا بالصبر, and the ones who have sabr. So you need to have patience. You must have patience. Here I've been thinking about this research things for the last 25 years, and only now is it concretizing. You know, 25 years I got like vague pictures of, and I get visions, man. I get like pictures in my head. I got a photographic memory. In fact, I got a videographic memory. I can play things that I saw back in my head, and then I can see stuff that I didn't notice when I saw it, but it got recorded I mean, I think it's in my head. It got recorded somewhere. I don't believe everything gets recorded in your head, man. Because if you look at Europhysics, they only look at the stuff that they can see. So if we go to a big dark black spot, right, then you can't see anything. But in there, the energy is changing to mass, and the mass is changing to energy. That's why you see when it does it on a huge scale, you know, something lets energy change to mass, and then it stays there. It doesn't go like back and forth. And that thing, it's happening right now in front of our eyes. But we can't see it because it's so tiny. 10 to the minus 18 is minutely tiny. So it goes right through us. And our eyes cannot detect that. It's too small. It goes right through your eye. How can you see it? It goes right between between your atom and your electron. Between your atom and your electron, if this is your atom here and your electron is there, then between there is the darknesses. There's not nothing there. And it's not only electrostatic and gravitational forces between the two and all that. There's the darknesses is there. All the way, here's all the darknesses here. And all the way out, right out, all the way to the final barrier and beyond is also the original darknesses, the Zulumat. So when energy changes to matter and matter changes to energy, something makes it stay on the matter side or something makes it stay on the energy side. And so you can explain the event horizon of black holes like that, because on the event horizon, something changes to matter, then it falls in and goes to the center of the black hole. Because the black hole is not a hole. You can't go right through. It's matter that has been condensed, like a massive star condensed to the size of maybe, who knows, a car. So can you imagine how strong that attractive that attraction is from that dense thing, all right? Because remember, mass is density times volume. So that big volume has gone down, but the density has gone mind-bogglingly high. So even light can't get out there. The attraction of that thing to light, everything just goes there. So on the event horizon, if something changes to mass, then it immediately falls like kaboom and gets attracted in, and it's stuck there. And if something converts to energy, if it's at a point enough, then it can leave, it can go. And that's why Stephen Hawking says that a black hole radiates energy, and eventually it will disappear. All that mass will become energy and it will disappear. And there won't be a black hole anymore. And they know that energy turns to mass and mass turns to energy, but they think it happens in the light. It doesn't. The light is is waves and photons of energy. There's no particles in light. They say it's got particle form and then it's got wave form. The part, you see, the darknesses in the Quran, the light covers up the darknesses. So when they see something happen underneath in the darknesses, then they think it's happening in the light. But it's not. It's happening in the darknesses. That energy to mass conversions, or the original, that's a creation of matter, that happens in the darknesses. And it happens at a like 10 to the minus 18 scale. And, I think it even happens at the 10 to the minus 18 second scale. So time and size happens at that minute scale. And we can't see it. We only see it when it goes to the mass side, and then we can see there's like a cloud of stuff, and then stars form from that. So can you imagine how many little atoms are going M, like bzzz, at a mind-boggling speed? But, that to them would be evidence that there's no creator. Matter just like popped out of nowhere, like a pop. And there now you can see that's how all matter gets created. Everything, inorganic matter and living matter. Everything's made of atoms, right? But the difference between a rock and a person is, or animal or a tree is, the difference between inorganic and organic matter is inorganic matter doesn't have a soul. There's no nurullah in it. But in organic matter or living matter, there is a soul. They have a different soul. It's only we have a akal. We have I almost said a brain now, but I mean animals also have brains. But we have an understanding, and we were made differently. We're not animals. We are human, and we were made. We come from Nabi Adam and Hawa, or Adam and Eve, But that sounds like a myth. I mean, even priests are saying that's just a story, Like, and heaven is like a symbolic place, where you're gonna go. Wait till they die. They say there's a joke that says that somebody waited outside Jannah for a sheikh, man, because he wanted to ask a question. He's still waiting. I shouldn't make that joke because they call me sheikh. Sheikh is like somebody who studied at university. Yeah, all Muslims are going to Jannah, and Christians, and Jews, and Sabi'in. But I don't know about everybody, because you must be according to the book, according to the Quran, and according to the Bible, and according to the Injil, the Torah, and the Injil. But when we recite Surah Fatiha and it says Ghayril Maghdubi alayhim waladdallin, the ones upon whom Allah's wrath will be bestowed, and the ones who have gone astray, then we like to think it's other people. Like it's that is the Christians and that is the Jews. I think it's the Muslims. The Muslims are the ones who the wrath of Allah will be bestowed on, and the Muslims are the ones who have gone astray, because hulle wil net stry. Assalamu alaikum.